being here with us on our channel for the Creator's Life. My name is Morgan. I'm a technician on the tech support team right here in OmniPrint. And well, today we're going to be performing a replacement of a subboard. So first, I would like to make sure we all understand that this type of repairs is meant to do with one of our technicians over a Zoom call, especially if you are working on your printer that is still under warranty. All right, so we're going to be able to guide you over the Zoom call, give you step-by-step instructions on how to get this part replaced. But again, remember, you must do this with our technician over a Zoom call. All right, so well, pretty much the reasons that we might need to end up replacing this subboard, it's well, there are different reasons, you know, like sometimes if we happen to have like ink spillage on, you know, on the back part right here on the gantry or on the back, and the ink reaches, you know, one of the main components and burns it, this might lead to a burn subboard. Same thing that if we are replacing a print head, that by the way, you know, these services that I'm talking about, there must be performed with one of our technicians over video call. But anyway, if we replace the printing head and we forgot to turn off the printer and plug the cables onto the printer head, then, you know, we might end up blowing the subboard. There's another reason also, you know, power outage. If you lose your power, and then when the power comes back, it comes back so hard, and if we're not using a 38 joules power surge, you know, the electricity will heat up really hard your printer, and then you know, the subboard might end up getting blown, or maybe also the power supply. So like I'm saying, you know, there are different reasons for the subboard to blow off. Okay, but well, let's go ahead and proceed. So first of all, before you proceed to do that, make sure you get the right part, and that is by contacting one of our technicians. Then the tools are going to be needing, I'm going to be just a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, about 5 to 6 inches long. It works perfectly, and we can go ahead and proceed to do that. So always make sure that your printer is completely turned off and unplugged from the electricity, and make sure you pull your USB cable as well. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the printer around. And the subboard, it's located behind the printer. Oh, one more thing. If you ever need to move this gantry by hand with the printer off, always make sure you do that by holding this bar and pulling it even. Never push or pull from the sides, because that will lead onto the gantry to be unaligned. So just make sure you grab it from here and slowly move it to the front. Close the gantry lid. I'm going to turn your printer around. And now, this area right here is where we have the subboard located. You know, we're gonna have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 screws. Again, we're gonna be using a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. So kind of want to reach in. It's very important for you guys to use a right size screwdriver, because if you use something smaller, you will end up messing up this screw. If we use a smaller screwdriver and we end up stripping this head screw in there, it's going to be very difficult to pull this screw out. As you can see, it has a tunnel. It's deep. It's about 1.5 inches deep. So it's going to be super hard to get that strip screw out. All right. So what I always like to do, I like to start removing, you know, these screws, the ones on the sides first, and I leave the one in the middle for the end. Another thing that I will strongly suggest you, it's the screwdriver, make sure that it's a magnetic screwdriver. It will make your job easier. can get your screws right here. If you use one that is not magnetic, it's going to take you twice as long as to get the screws out. Another tip that I'm also going to give you is that if you can get a magnetic tray, unfortunately I don't have mine right now, but if you can get one, that will be super handy. So you can throw your screws on that magnetic bar. Otherwise they might end up falling inside of the printer and you might not going to be able to get them out. I mean, there's a way to get them out, but we're going to have to deassemble the whole printer just to reach a couple of screws. Or you can always use, like a small container, just drop them and just keep them off the printer so they won't, like fall inside. All right, so now we'll remove these 4 screws. Now we're gonna go ahead and proceed to remove the one in the middle. So when you remove this one, always make sure that you hold this plate. Because once we remove this last screw, the plate will come out loose. When you're working with this plate, be very careful not to damage these stickers because this is your serial number. All right, so now that we have removed the cover, now we have a exposed or power switch, and this right here, this is the subboard. So now, I always like to do before getting this one out, I like to begin to pull out the cable. So just want to make sure that you pull this one. It is completely fine or perfectly fine to pull from the wires. Just kind of grab this one. Here is a little latch that you might pull out. Then this one slides out. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull this 31-pin ribbon cable. You got to be extremely careful when you remove this cable and when you bring the cable in. Make sure that when you pull this cable, you don't pull it sideways. You definitely want to reach in with both hands and pull it evenly up. The reason why you don't want to pull it sideways is because, as you can see right here, can you do a close-up right here, please? We have a series of 31-pin bars. These are very fragile, and this is the reason we want to pull this straight up, because if we pull it sideways, these bars might end up peeling off and they will get damaged. If you damage these silver bars, it's going to be a long journey, because in order for us to be able to get this cable replaced, we'll pretty much need to tear half of the printer off, and it's a really long job. I mean, a really long repair. So okay, now that we pull this ribbon cable, kind of want to push it in to get it off the way. Now we're going to go ahead and remove or pull this cable. So we have a total of 4. This beige, black, red, and red. Same thing. I'm going to reach in. Perfectly fine to pull from the cables. Just wiggle it up like that. This one, and this other one, and the last one in the back. Now, as you can see, we have a beige, 2 reds, and 1 black. There's no mistake. I mean, like, there's no way they're gonna be, any mistake by plugging them back. I mean, they're all, like different shapes. So if it doesn't fit, then it means that it doesn't go there. But I mean, like, it's very, simple. All right, so we got these guys out. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull this really thin data cable. This data cable is pretty much the same thing as the thicker one, the 31 pin, so make sure you pull it out straight like that. Notice that we have also, silver bars that are super fragile here. Now we're gonna go ahead and you can leave this one here, and now I'm gonna go ahead and remove these 3 screws, which are the same exact size, number 2, Phillips head. Now notice So these screws are longer than the first ones, but they're the same exact size. I always like to do the same way. Remove the ones on the sides, right and left, leaving the one in the middle for the end. This guy out. Now when you remove this last screw, you're going to notice that this whole bracket becomes loose. So very carefully we're going to pull it out. I'm going to go ahead and unplug the USB cable, leaving this one as the last one. So same screwdriver, number 2. Now got all the bracket out along with the subboard, and pretty straightforward. Gonna go ahead and unscrew this guy. There are a total of 4 screws holding this subboard. There you go. So got our subboard out or off. And one thing that I almost forgot to mention, that on this subboard right here, I'm gonna point it later on again, we have a total of 3 lights. So actually LEDs. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Got them? So on a good working subboard, we should have all 3 lights on. When we only have 2 lights on or 1 light on, it means that this subboard is blown. All right, but there's also other, you know, as you can see, there's other resistors right here that might be blown. So we might have all 3 lights, but if we still have, you know, different type of problems, it might, you know, it might be because one of these resistors are blown. That's something that we will need to diagnose over the video call, or on an on-site if you decide to hire us to go and repair your printer for you at your site. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab the subboard, the new one. Again, you know, this is when a magnetic screwdriver comes very handy. I'll grab this guy. Put it back in position. What I like to do, sorry, before, I mean, like, I don't like to get the screw in there and then immediately start tightening it. What I like to do is I like to position the screw in the hole, and then I like to go counterclockwise, waiting for a light click or jump. There you go. That means that the thread is already engaged, and then I like to go clockwise. But I don't tighten these screws just yet. I just leave them a little bit loose. Grab my next screw. Get it in the next hole, same thing, counterclockwise, wait for the jump or click. There we go. And then clockwise. Next one, counterclockwise. There's a click, then clockwise. By doing this, you will never gonna strip a thread. And the last one, counterclockwise, click, and now notice that all my 4 screws are in there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these 3 screws, but not this one just yet. You don't really need to super tight these screws, you know, just a snug tight. That's all it takes. There we go. And remember, leave this one loose. The reason we want to leave this one loose is because right here is where we're going to be connecting our ground cable. So now, I'm going to grab all my cables, except this one and the power one. So this is the USB and this is the power. So I like to bring all my cables in through this rectangular opening. Now we're gonna do all the plugging. So to make the things easier, I always like to connect the cables on the back to the front. This guy, pop it in. Remember not to damage this one, the data cable. Now we're gonna the other red. Pop it in. Black. Now the beige. We're all in. Now I like to connect this data cable. And remember, I mentioned it that when you pull this cable, you must pull it evenly. Same thing when you push it in. Make sure that the cable is precisely sitting on this slot. Go ahead and do a close up, please. Make sure that the cable is sitting precisely on this slot right here. Don't push it in just yet. So get it in the slot. You're totally comfortable and you're totally sure that this is properly sitting in the slot, and then push it in evenly. Then I'm gonna grab our ground cable, slide it underneath the screw. Now you can go ahead and tight this screw, which is the last one. Remember, you don't really need to super tight these screws, just a good snug tight. So the proper way to run this cable is like go around this white connector, then around this resistor, push it in, and then behind this white connector. I'm not really sure if you can see it. I mean, you don't really need to do this. I mean, it's just for, if you want to do it, that will be a good idea, so you can have your cables nicely organized and not just tangle it all around. So next one, I want to go ahead and connect your USB cable here. And now, I'll leave this one at the end. So now, you want to make sure that this plate goes behind or inside the printer frame or body. Put it in there. Grab your first screw. And now, notice there's holes right here on the frame or bracket. Screw is going to go through this hole. You just want to grab this bracket, bring it up here, take a peek through the hole, make sure that you see the hole which has the threading, the bracket, get it in there. Notice that I did the counterclockwise turns to catch the thread. Make sure I don't strip that hole, and then just reverse installation. Once again, notice that I'm not tightening the screws just yet. I like to get all of them in. Now that I have all the screws in, now I can go ahead and proceed to tighten these ones. Again, you don't need to super tight these screws, just a snug. There we go, that's good enough. And then my last one. That's it. Now I can go ahead and run this power cable. This one right here. Notice that I can always push it in like that, right? But this is not the proper way, so it's never gonna go in. Now right here you can see that there's like a little lip that engages with this clip. Get it there and just push it in. You might wanna, like put your hand right here just to support the push. There you go, that's it. Right, so double check your job, and right here we're almost missing something, which is the 31 pin. Now the 31 pin, want to push this cable once the bracket is already in position. There we go. Cable is out. Let's go ahead and unplug this one first. All right. Now, bars are supposed to go on the inside. So the blue face of the cable should be facing you or facing to the back. Before pushing this cable in, go ahead and check your bars, make sure that they're not damaged. You can pass your finger right here, and if those bars are, like becoming, like, if they are peeling off, you will immediately see by passing your finger on top of the edge. These ones are in good shape. I'm gonna bend the cable down. Once again, you gotta make sure that the cable is precisely sitting in the slot. So, can you do a close-up right now? Here's the slot, the female connector on the board. So, make sure you grab your cable. Do not push it in, just land it in the slot. And now, we're gonna evenly push it down. This is gonna be a snug push. You're gonna even feel, like a little click or bump. There you go. Now it's in. We'll double check. All right, good. Then we can go ahead and connect our power cable. That's pretty much it. Now, what you can do right now, you can go ahead and connect your printer to the electricity and turn it on to make sure that we have all 3 lights on before placing the cover. And go ahead and do this sideways because the cable is not going to reach. All right. Excuse me. So before you plug the cable, make sure that the switch is pushed on the O side. Because if it's like this on the line, that means that electricity is going to go in. So make sure that it's like this. So go ahead and grab your cable, plug it, and before you turn on the switch, make sure that there's nothing right here on the gantry way. Because as soon as we turn this guy on, the gantry is going to move towards the home position. So let's go ahead and do it. We got the beeping. Okay, the gantry is going to move to the back or home position. There you go. And now these are the LEDs that I was just talking about. You got a white, blue, and yellow in the back. Not sure if you guys are able to see the lights because it's kind of bright. You think you might? Yeah. It's going to turn. Okay, there you go. So there you go. You got your white, blue, and yellow in the back. All right. So there you go. After that, just going to go ahead and proceed to turn on the printer. I'm going to turn this around. So right now the printer, it's on standby mode. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the printer all the way on. I'm going to share something with you guys right now. I'm pretty sure that you probably already experienced this. Whenever you reach in and turn on the printer all the way on, sometimes the carriage gets stuck right there, and then you hear a super loud grinding noise. It goes like zzz, like super loud. So if that happens to you, what I will recommend you to do when you turn on the printer, and also when you turn off the printer, is like when you reach to the power button, press it. You'll notice that this light is going to start blinking. Actually, this one's going to blink, then this is going to turn on. Then you're going to hear a beep coming from the gantry. Do not release a power button right after you hear that beep. Because pretty much what's happening is that, you're powering out the printer and you're sending information from this keyboard to the frigid board. So if you heard that beep and then you release this button immediately, what happens is that sometimes the information, it hasn't, gone through all the way. And then when you release a power button, you're cutting that information, and then that's when the carriage gets stuck, and then it begins to grind. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and press and hold the power button. See, blinking, it's going to turn on. There's your beep. And keep on holding the button for about 3 seconds. And now you can go ahead and release it. By holding the power button for about 2 to 3 seconds, you are ensuring that the information sent by the keyboard to the frigid board, there you go, it's completely transferred. There we go. Right, so right now it's kind of bright, but right here the ink light, it's on. So I just turned on the printer, but since the ink readers, detected that it's low in ink, that's why it did that kind of movement. If that happens to you, don't worry about it. Just let the printer do their job, and it will properly turn on. There you go. Notice right there, you only have the blue light, green light, meaning death or subboard replacement. It has been successfully done. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn off the printer. And notice that we're gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna go ahead and press and hold the power button. As soon as I heard the beep, I'm not gonna let it go. I'm just gonna keep on holding it for about 3 more seconds, and then I'm gonna let it go. Blinks, still on. Got the beep, power light turns off. I'm holding it, and now I can go ahead and release it. That's pretty much it. All right, do you guys have any questions? Okay, see Sharon.
Good information, man.
Thank you. All right, so
Yeah, because I've been having the same problems. Every time I do shut off the machine, I let it go too early, and then it creates that sound, that grinding sound. I was like, oh man, I messed this up.
yeah, it's a scary, it's like, man, it's so loud that, you really think that the printer is gonna explode. But yeah,
Yeah.
make sure that you press and hold that button for about 3 more seconds after when you're turning it on or when you turn it off to avoid that from happening.
Okay, and I got another question. How can I wasn't paying attention because I have my kids running around, but how how can I tell when I need to change that piece in the back? You
The
know,
subway. Okay, so let's say, first of all, you got to make sure that you reach out to us, all right? So you can open a service ticket and we will reach back to you so we can set up an appointment. But the first thing that you will notice is that when you turn on the printer, you might end up having, either a double light blinking here or probably no power at all. Again, like there's different scenarios. Like sometimes, you have no power at all. The subboard might be in good shape, so that means that one of the boards must be replaced. Then if you have the double blinking and it's not turning on, maybe the board is in good shape, but the subboard must be replaced. But again, that is something that you will need to reach out to us so we can go ahead and set up the appointment, go on a video call, remove this cover and see exactly, like what the problem is so we can better guide you.
are you gonna show us more stuff? Are you gonna do more videos to show us more stuff, like tech
Absolutely.
wise?
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna be recording more videos, and as a matter of fact, you can go to our channel. We have more videos there already. We have a video, I believe, how to replace a pump, how to replace a print head, frigid board, R2400 board, and a few other things. But once again, remember, if you ever need to get those parts or any of those parts replaced, always make sure to reach out to us so we can guide you. All right. One last thing that I like to mention about the pushing of the buttons. So we already talked about powering on the printer, powering off the printer, but now in regards to the head cleaning. So there are 2 ways that you can perform a head cleaning on the printer. One is through the computer. The other one is directly here on the printer. And let's go ahead and do it. so you can see. Now that we have a few minutes left. So we're gonna go ahead and turn off the printer, all right? So press and hold. Beep. Notice I'm holding it. Now I can let go. So now for the head cleaning, you must have your printer all the way on. All right, so now you heard the double beeping. That means that the printer is ready to go. So now to perform that head cleaning, all you have to do is first locate the feeding button, which is this one right here. Second, you're gonna go ahead and press and hold, and you're gonna wait for a light beep coming from the gantry. So let's go ahead and do it. So press and hold. You're gonna notice the status beep, and now right here you also want to hold the button for 3 seconds. Now you can let go. And excuse me. Now remember, those 3 extra seconds are ensuring that all the information is properly sent to the frigid board, so your carriage won't grind. And you just wait. Remember, every time that you see this light blinking, even though there's no movement right here on the gantry, it means that the printer is working on something. It's performing a task. Make sure you don't push any buttons. Not until this light becomes solid. And even though there are certain scenarios that this light will become solid, but the gantry or carriage might be performing a task. So just give it a second, like always, like before pressing any keys, wait about 5 to 10 seconds. Make sure that nothing else is moving, and then you can go ahead and proceed to do your automatic adjustment, your front, rear, standby, or whatever action you need to do. Just make sure you give the printer a time. All right. Now we're almost done with that head cleaning.
Is there a difference between the head clean in the computer comparing to the head cleans in the machine?
Absolutely not. I mean, just this way is faster than going into your computer. Like on your computer, you need to go to search, open up printing preference. No, wait a minute.
The option maintenance.
Maintenance, then open up the menu and then
Yeah.
look for. So by that, it will take you, a little bit longer, other than just turn on your printer all the way on and just press and hold the feeding. It's gonna do the same exact thing but faster.
Okay.
All right. So, any other questions, guys? Ladies and gentlemen? I guess not. All right. Well, so thank you very much for being here with us, and hopefully next week we're gonna go ahead and do another video. And yes, we're definitely gonna be recording more videos. Maybe not for the live streaming, but to load it on the YouTube. But feel free to reach out to us, and we'll guide you onto where the videos are. All right.
Thank you, man.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. I was gonna say Merry Christmas, but it just passed. But Happy New Year. All
Happy
right. Be safe.
holidays.
There you go. Happy
Happy New
holidays.
Year.
All right. Take care, guys.